Today, I tell you how this device potentially saved me weeks in time and hundreds of bucks. Not without some stumbles along the way. Welcome back to CarlitosWays. This is my long-term review of the iCarsoft CR Ultra. In the past, working on cars was simple. Just open the bonnet and get to work. But technology brought complexity. There is nothing better than a partner to help you navigate that complexity. And with its multi-brand approach, it promises versatility and advanced features. Does it deliver? Let's find out. Here are the specifications. In essence, you have a very capable tablet, and of special note is the native support for CAN FD and diagnostic over IP. This means it handles modern, high-speed vehicle networks and factory communication protocols with ease. Crucially, the device will not brick itself if you choose not to update. Starting with the case. It lives happily in the workshop, or in your workhorse, or even in the back of your sedan. It is that compact. It's also rugged. And it makes satisfying sounds when you open and close it, so you know your hardware is safe. The device itself is rugged and can take some knocks. It can handle rough treatment in the shop. With rubberized fits, you can set it on top of cars without worry. Here, for you, I will peel the screen to show you the glare. It is not as bad as the cameras make it look. Reflections go away and readability is great. Inside the box, you get the manual, cigarette lighter and clipper cable, diagnostic extension cable, BMW F chassis and Mitsubishi MH12 and 16, Ethernet cable, Ethernet dongle, battery tester clipper cable, power adapter connectors, pre-OBD2 Mazda, Toyota and Ford, TA22 adapter, TA17 adapter, Chrysler CR6, GM GV12, Honda H3 adapter, VCI box main unit, VCI, battery test module, BMW P20, Mercedes BZ38, all connected through the OBD1 adapter as a serial port. And notice this, it fits so snugly in the molded box. You don't even need to use the securing tabs. It will never fall out. Let's try a hands-on on a 2012 Range Rover. How will it fare? Right away, we hit a small hurdle. Let me explain inside the car.
And here is the extension cable. And this extension cable allows me to plug into this car without any issues. Whenever I try to plug to this car just without any extension, so for example, just using the VCI on its own, it doesn't work. Don't ask me why. The connections should be the same. Yeah. When you look at this, it looks pretty much the same, except for there is a slight gap here. I don't know if that's what's getting in the way, whereas this one doesn't have that gap, as you can see there. But for some reason, on this car alone, it works only with this cable. Thank God this cable actually comes included with the device. So that is a blessing. All you have to do is plug the VCI here and then plug the other end into the ODB port, and it should work just fine.
Thank you, Range Rover Carlos. Back to Studio Carlos. Now we are going to execute an oil service reset. On the cluster, you see it needs a service. It says service required once the messages have cycled through. On the unit, we select Land Rover, hit automatic search for the VIN, everything is identified automatically, We click OK, and then simply follow instructions on the screen until it tells us it is complete. Once complete, we check the cluster and the messages cycle as usual, but service required is gone. Job done. I then ran a quick diagnostic scan. It is fairly quick on this car, both to diagnose and to present you with the results. Some messages that popped up are from an old battery. This car had a problem with battery. Not the only one in this video, by the way. But one of those stood out. Brake temperature too high. That is a super useful message because I have been having some issues on the highway with some vibrations at some places, and it looks like we could have a stuck caliper at some point. Clearing the error codes was fast and easy. We are happy with the Range Rover. Moving on to a Mercedes CLS 350. This is the petrol version V6. Premium German cars. Oh god, they do have some complex electronics. The VCI plugs in super easy. We run an automatic search. It pulls the right VIN and identifies the car correctly. We execute a smart scan. Keep in mind, on a feature-heavy car like this one, this scan took a full 5 minutes, so be patient. Make yourself a coffee. Many of these stored errors were from a low or even faulty battery. We had to replace it recently. As I said, not the only car in this video. But 3 messages were quite interesting. The keyless go fault, yes, we've been locked out of the car several times, so it seems we have to investigate. An unrest problem, and yeah, this is a functionality this car has, where it hugs you as you go along and turn around the road. This is faulty on the right seat, I know that. But then this one, internal fault in the driver's side SAM. The SAM regulates multiple car modules. Usually, a fault means replacing the unit at a high cost. But look at this. The CR Ultra lets you execute a variant backup. It saves all program functions, and when you install a replacement, you simply restore your saved code. No dealer system needed here. Here, you can also see that you can run Actuations very easily. The press of a button and it triggers functions directly on the car through the target. And speaking of special functions, you can modify program settings. You can disable automatic start-stop, for example. Some of you love that. Or, in my case, change the one-touch blinker counts from 3 up to 5, which I love. But it is the graphing function which is breathtaking. You can log several graphs together at the same time. 12 in fact. You can zoom in, zoom out, and you can record screen sessions and save the data stream, both of which you can look at a later date. Now let me paint you a picture. You're driving your car, maybe your premium car even, why not? You get a scary fault message on your dashboard and you have no idea what is going wrong. So what do? You drive to the dealership. A very nice receptionist gives you an appointment. Weeks out, when your date finally arrives, you are greeted by the guy with the fake smile offering you an overpriced complimentary coffee, only to hand your keys to an overworked chief mechanic who hands them to an apprentice, only for that apprentice to say, yeah, it's just that. It's just that. This device, well, it simply showed me the error. I looked it up online, and a simple cable tie later, it fixed the whole thing. And the best part? I got to keep the device. It paid for itself, in my view, and it has been a faithful partner ever since. Now, onto a Porsche Cayman S. Here, we take a shortcut using the VIN scan function. It scans the VIN, identifies the brand, and drops you right into a shortcut to the diagnostic tree. It's a quicker way to get there. On this Porsche, it took a while longer than on the other ones. I suspect due to an update missing. This car had previous battery issues. In fact, as you see it right now, it is plugged into the mains. So first, I cleared the stored codes to see what really is persistent. And right there, the driver's door is throwing a code. You can look up the exact code directly on the built-in web browser. It shows multiple potential causes. To diagnose it, we are going to read live values, which I'm choosing now, and in essence, I want to check for an open circuit or a short. Watch the screen as I lock. Once locked, 2.9 volts appears. Then, when unlocked, it drops back off. So electrically, it is working as expected. To be thorough, I updated the firmware, which is really easy to do, and then run the test again with the same exact result. By the way, you can also record the screen session and then share those video files through the file manager over Bluetooth. Next, a 2017 Mercedes-AMG GTS. I love this car. I mean, look at it. It's beautiful. By the way, lots of content coming on about this car. So if that's something that interests you, why not consider subscribing? In which case you will get notified about it on time so that you can return and watch it. When I hooked it up, a prompt notified me that the software update was required. Connecting to Wi-Fi is as easy as on a phone. I selected to update the base system, this base functionality of the tablet, and Mercedes updates. At 7 megabytes per second, that is almost 100 megabits, it took about 5 minutes to update, so it is a big update. I ran the scan, and several codes came up. These frankly surprised me. I have never noticed any issue with the car going into park. There is an auxiliary battery, because for once, this car hasn't had any battery issues, but it seems that an auxiliary battery might be the case here. In any case, I saved the report and then proceeded to clear the code to see what is persistent. One persistent error remained on the transmission mountings. The automated AI lookup didn't quite catch it correctly. I imagine this is due to the code or the way that it's looking for codes. Then it was time to attempt to delete the code and see if it stayed off. And now I go quiet and invite you to hear this wonderful engine. Upon restarting the car, the error returned. It flagged a real physical issue and it will require hands-on inspection. And here is where things stumble a bit. A Mazda MX-5. To be completely honest, the Mazda software experience was the flakiest so far. The auto VIN recognized the VIN, but it failed to list the model name. Loading the tree took just under 2 minutes, much longer than on the other modules. And even though scanning was fast, taking only 20 seconds, running into different other modes also made me wait around a minute. Nonetheless, once it's in, you get to perform the test as usual, and there are the usual many data points available, and even live data works just fine. We even ran actuation tests, so here you can see how we are sweeping the speedometer from 0 to 60, then to 120, then back to 0. However, changing the oil service interval was simply not doable. It threw several error messages, it threw communication errors depending on which menu item I was choosing, and in essence, even the manual steps listed in the module didn't quite work out, at least for this exam. And what's more, when exiting the software, then finally the MX-5 was listed as the model. Yeah, Mazda was definitely the rough spot in this test. So let's take a step back. The iCarsoft CR Ultra is feature-rich. Oil change resets, DPF cleaning and replacing, injector coding, air suspension matching, TPMS, Windows resets, EGR adaptation, ABS bleeding, 12 graph function with both screen and data recording, diagnostic reports saved as professionally signed PDFs, and even a camera for some pictures on the go. And this is only a small subset, a few percentage points of these device capabilities. It would be impossible to cover it all in one video. Crucially though, one of the biggest strengths in iCarsoft's model, in my opinion, is the update model. 3 years free updates. But if you opt not to update, the device does not stop working. In a world of endless subscriptions, this is a breath of fresh air. No device is perfect, and there are some areas to be improved. For example, I could never get the USB port to mount an external storage device. It seems to be intended exclusively for the Ethernet dongle, and here is one of the toughest questions for iCarsoft. Is it really a good idea to be plugging in an Android 10 device to an internal network? The file manager feels clunky. To navigate the internal memory of the device feels more like you found a hack or a workaround and not like an intentional function. Also, going back twice on the diagnostic tree erases your diagnostic completely and you have to rerun it. Trust me, for those 5-minute diagnostic runs, this can be very irritating. And yes, there are the occasional misspelling errors here and there. Who am I to judge? However, the real pain point was how flaky the Mazda module felt. I cannot tell you if this is the case for all Mazdas, but at least in my test, this was the case. So, is it worth it? Well, in my case, just the story of avoiding a trip to the dealer was absolutely worth it. It saved me time, saved me money, but the best part, I ended up with a reliable partner for years to come. If you look at it from that angle, maybe, just maybe, it is worth it for you too. If, on the other hand, you run a small shop, this device has the potential to be the heart of your operations. Full disclosure, I bought and paid for this device with my own money. iCarsoft provided no editorial input and are seeing this video at the very same time as you are. Also, iCarsoft provided no compensation for this review. The opinions and experiences you've seen here are my own. Thank you for tuning in, and please let us know. Would you like to see more of this device? Is there a tutorial that you would like us to do? Is there a brand that you would like to see featured in this type of videos? Please let us know in the comments below. Until next time, take care and see you in the next video.